Now we have reached the last part of these discussions in the Module 4 of Institutional Correction. Now I will be continuing discussing the Republic Act 9263, which is the... Now let's proceed to the Section 8, which is the Professionalization and Qualifications Upgrading Program. So the DILG shall design and establish a professionalization and qualifications upgrading program for uniform personnel of the BFP and the BGMP in coordination with the CSC and the Commission on Higher Education or CHED through an off-campus education program or other similar programs with 90 days from the effectivity of this Act. Section 9 is the attrition system for the uniform personnel of the BFP and the BGMP. There shall be established a system of attrition for the uniform personnel of the BFP and the BGMP within 1 year from the effectivity of this Act, to be submitted by the said bureaus to the DILG for approval. Such attrition system shall include, but is not limited to, the provision of the following principles. First is the attrition by demotion in position or rank. Any uniform personnel of the BFP and the BGMP who is relieved and assigned to a position lower than that is established for his or her grade in the respective staffing pattern of the Fire Bureau and the Jail Bureau, and who shall not be assigned to a position commensurate to his or her grade with 2 years after such demotion in position shall be separated or retired from the service. Next is the attrition by non-promotion. Any uniform personnel of the BFP and the BGMP who has not been promoted for a continuous period of 10 years shall be separated or retired from the service except for those who are occupying a third-level position. Next is the attrition by other means. Any uniform personnel of the BFP and the BGMP with at least 5 years of accumulated active service shall be separated from the service based on any of the following factors. One is the inefficiency based on the poor performance during the last 2 successive semestral ratings periods. Second, inefficiency based on poor performance for 3 cumulative semestral rating periods. Third is the physical and or mental incapacity to perform his or her duties and functions. Or number 4, failure to complete the required career courses and or appropriate civil service eligibility for his or her position, except for justifiable. And lastly is the separation or retirement from the Fire Bureau and the Jail Bureau under this section. Any personnel who is dismissed from the BFP and the BGMP pursuant to the above enumerated principles in this section shall be separated if he or she has rendered less than 20 years of service, and be retired if he or she has rendered at least 20 years of service unless the concerned personnel is disqualified by law to receive such benefits. So Section 10 is the promotion system for the uniform personnel of the BFP and the BGMP. So within 6 months after the effectivity of this Act, the DILG shall establish a system of promotion for the uniform personnel of the BFP and the BGMP through the following principles. We have the rationalized promotion system. The system of promotion shall be based on merits and on the availability of vacant ranks in the BFP and the BGMP staffing pattern. Such system shall be gender fair so to ensure that women, personnel of the Fire Bureau and the Jail Bureau, shall enjoy equal opportunity for promotion as to men. Next is the requirement for promotion. So now we have number 1. Any personnel of the BFP and the BGMP shall not eligible for promotion to a higher rank unless he or she has met the minimum qualification standards or the appropriate civil service eligibility set by the CSC and has the satisfactorily passed and the required psychiatric, psychological, drug, and physical tests. Second is any personnel of the BFP and the BGMP who has exhibited act of conspicuousness, courage, and gallantry at the risk his or her life above and beyond the call of duty or selected as such in a nationwide search conducted by any accredited civic organization shall be promoted to the next higher rank provided that these shall be validated by the DILG and the CSC based on the established criteria. Let's proceed to the section 11, the performance evaluation system. So there shall be established a performance evaluation system which shall be administered with accordance with the rules, regulations, and standards and the code of conduct for the uniformed personnel of the BFP and the BGMP to be promulgated by the Fire Bureau and Jail Bureau through the DILG. Such performance evaluation system shall be administered in such a way as to foster the improvement of the individual efficiency and behavioral discipline as well as the promotion of organizational effectiveness and commitment to service. The rating system as contemplated herein shall be based on standards prescribed by the Fire Bureau and the Jail Bureau through the DILG and shall be considered the result of the annual psychiatric, psychological, and physical tests conducted on the uniformed personnel of the BFP and the BGMP. Section 12 is the standardization of the base pay, retirement, and other benefits of the uniformed personnel of the BFP and the BGMP. In order to enhance the general welfare, commitment to service, and professionalism of the uniformed personnel of the BFP and the BGMP, they shall receive the minimum starting salary equivalent to the salary. They shall receive the minimum starting salary equivalent to the salary grade level of the corresponding rank classification of their counterparts in the PNP as provided under the Section 36 of Republic Act Number 8551 and in the AFP as provided under Section 2 of the Republic Act Number 9166. So the rate of the base pay of the uniformed personnel of the BFP and the BGMP shall be adjusted in accordance with the following salary grade schedule. Rank, salary, grade. So we have the fire or jail director, we have 28. Fire jail chief superintendent 27. Fire jail senior superintendent 26. Fire jail superintendent 25. Fire jail chief inspector 24. Fire jail senior inspector 23. Fire Jail Inspector 22, Senior Fire Jail Officer 4, 19, Senior Fire Jail Officer 3, 18, Senior Fire Jail Officer 2, 17, Senior Fire Jail Officer 1, 16, Fire Jail Officer 3, 14, Fire or Jail Officer 2 is 12, and lastly, the Fire or Jail Officer 1 is 10. Provided that all the benefits currently received by the uniformed personnel of the BFP and the BGMP under existing laws shall continue to be received by them, provided further that their retirement pay shall be subject to adjustments based on the prevailing scale of the base pay of the uniformed personnel in the active service. Section 13 is the implementation. The implementation of this act shall be undertaken in staggered paces but not to exceed 3 years, taking into consideration the financial position of the national government, provided that any partial implementation shall be uniform and proportionate for all ranks. Section 14. Implementation rules and regulations. The DILG, in coordination with the BFP and the BGMP and the CSC, the Department of Budget and Management or the DBM, and the Department of Finance or the DOF, shall within 90 days from the effectivity of this act promulgated the rules and regulations necessary to implement the provision of this act. Section 15 is the annual report. The BFP and the BGMP through the DILG and the DBM shall jointly submit to the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives an annual report on the implementation of this act. These reports shall include information on the application of the budget for the salary and other benefits provided under this act. The DBM, in consultation with the BFP and the BGMP through the DILD, shall periodically review and adjust every 5 years the rates of the base pay, taking into consideration labor productivity, consumer price index, oil price, and other similar economic indicators as may be determined by the National Economic and Development Authority, or the NEDA. So Section 16 is the separability clause. If any person or provision of this act is declared unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity and effectivity of the other provisions not effective thereby. Section 17 is the repealing clause. All laws, decrees, orders, rules, and regulations, and other issuance of parts thereof which are inconsistent with the provision of this act are hereby deemed repealed, amended, or modified accordingly. Section 18 is the effectivity. This act shall take effect 15 days after its complete publication in the official gazette or in at least 2 newspapers of general circulation, whichever comes earlier. So this act, which is a consolidation of Senate Bill number 2373 and House Bill number 6557, was finally passed by the Senate and the House of Representatives on January 29, 2004 and February 2, 2004 respectively. So these ends my discussions about the Module 4 in the institutional correction. Thank you for listening.